Hey everyone, I'm Matt McKee. I've been part of the Infomark ARS department for a little over 2 years. I've been in this line of work for a little over 7. So today we are looking at a booster pump and the motor for it. This is an important part of the water plant because it's basically how the water makes it from the plant to your house. The water is collected in a tank. The booster pump works together with the air compressor to make sure the water can jet down the line as soon as you open your faucet without even having to think about it. There's two main parts to the booster pump. There is the motor and then the pump itself. This is a design we call a split case booster pump because it's laying on its side and it looks like it was split in half. There are 4 things to worry about. There are 2 grease points for the motor itself and 2 grease points for the booster pump itself. We use different kinds of grease for them. For the motor, we use an electric motor grease. It's a special kind to where if for some reason the grease gets inside where it shouldn't, it won't short out the electrical wiring. We use a multi-purpose grease for the bearings here on the pump because it's just a general all-around good, takes the abuse kind of grease. So next thing we're going to do is de-energize the unit, and then I'll show you a little bit about how we actually service it. Okay, we are here in the control room in front of the main control panel. First thing we are going to do is turn it off here at the control panel switch, and then we are going to go ahead and de-energize the pump itself at the breaker. Gonna kill the power and then mark it as tagged out. That way nobody will come by and mess with it while I am working on it. So now that the unit is safely de-energized, we're going to go ahead and take this in bonnet off of the motor. We can go and clean this out, and that lets us kind of see what the outside of the bearing looks like there. And we open this up so we can look at the outside of the seal. Unlike a blower, for example, where you could open it up and see the bearings, these are pretty enclosed. So we just basically look to make sure there's an intact seal and it's not pouring grease out onto this side. The grease should feed in through the top. As it spins, it spreads out, and it should expel out through the side here. And here we are introducing some of the electric motor grease. Go ahead and give it a pump one. So you won't always necessarily see grease come out as you're adding it. Sometimes you will, but a general rule of thumb is that this should run for at least half an hour after being greased to let the new grease distribute in the bearings. We'll go ahead and move on to the back. And we're doing the same thing, adding grease to the back bearing. Again, like I was saying, you won't always see results right away. And here we are adding the multi-purpose high temperature bearing grease to the booster pump. Like I said, it's a general all-rounder grease that can just handle the abuse being right next to the water here. So just like the motor, there's always 2 sides to it. So what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. And now that we've finished greasing the pump, we're going to put the bonnet back on here to make sure everything's back put up safely. Then we can re-energize the unit. Okay, so now that we've finished doing all the preventative maintenance on the pump, we can go ahead and return it to service. First thing we're going to do is re-energize the unit here at the breaker. The unit now has power, and we're going to go over here to the switch. We're going to put it exactly how we found it from the operator in automatic. Okay, so you've followed along as we PM'd a generic split case booster pump. This is a pretty important part of the water plant because, you know, the well gets the water out of the ground, but the booster pump is half of the equation that gets the water to you. So I think we can all agree that that's a pretty important part of the system here. Thanks for following along. I'm Matt and this is Juan, and we'll see you next time.